Something dark and scary. Scary Christmas.
Joshua left the pub around 3:45 in the morning. He was drunk and rambling to himself about his cheating wife. He drove down a snowy road surrounded by tall trees. The moonlight gave a glow in the barely darkened sky. Joshua cried, remembering his 2 little girls and the love he has for them. He cried, banging his fist on the dashboard, thinking about the horrible thing his wife had done to him. The image of her being with her boss at the Big K shot a pain in his heart that wouldn't let up. The night he found her in the woods naked on top of him, kissing and moaning. Her beautiful body, her full puffy lips, her dark hair. He hated her so much that he started imagining her death. He cursed her name and sped up, mashing his foot on the gas pedal. The car slid side to side on the road. Then it spun off the road, running into a steel fence. The airbag emerged, and Joshua passed out. His head leaned into the airbag, and he slobbered as he slept. Snow fell from the sky onto the wrecked car. The gifts in the trunk of the car lay scattered. Christmas cards and wrapping paper shuffled all over. A shadow came over the trees, passing over the land and waters and fields. The wings 20 feet long, casting its massive reflection across the area it passed. It screamed into the night with an echo that would haunt anyone who heard. The wings' thrust created a rumble in the air. It swooped down over the wrecked car and landed on the hood of it. The view from its eyes are red as it stared at the sleeping human inside the car. The long hair from its head waved into the air as the cold air blew. Its eyes glowed a red light as Joshua came to. He rubbed his eyes as the image of the creature was a blur to him. The face of the creature looked human, but it didn't have the same skin complexion as a human. It looked pale and gray. It was female, naked, with an animalistic stare in her eyes. She jolted her head to one side, looking to see if anyone else was around. Then she turned her head clearly around without turning her body as she heard the sound of an owl nearby. She stabbed one of her claw hands into the hood, stabbing into the metal. She hissed at Joshua, revealing her fangs. Joshua fought with the airbag, trying to flee his car as he realized what had come for him. Joshua got out of the car and puked in the snow. He stumbled, then slipped on the ice, falling on his back in a drunken daze. The creature sat on the hood and watched Joshua try to run. Joshua got up, then ran straight into a tree. He stumbled back, trying to keep his balance, then turned around to see if he was being followed. He saw that the bat-like creature just looked at him with those glowing red eyes. He then yelled at it and told it to leave him alone. The creature stood up, then opened its wings out with a stretch. She then screamed at him, causing him to fall backwards in the snow, hitting his head on a large rock. The naked creature leaped into the air, landing in the snow by his knee. Joshua cried as he couldn't put up a fight. He was too drunk and tired. He laid his arms down, then told the creature to go ahead and kill him. He looked at her with sadness. The creature moved in fast with her fangs right at his throat. She then sniffed his neck and moved back slowly with her eyes on his. She then moaned and rubbed her face into his cheek. She then backed away, then ran, jumping up off the ground. She flew into the dark blue sky, passing over the treetops. Joshua got up, then brushed the snow off his clothes. He walked over to his car and found his cell phone. He called for a tow truck and got inside his car and waited. He thought to himself, he must have been seeing things. It must be the alcohol. When morning came, Joshua was dropped off by a friend. He exited the car, then stood for a few minutes alone. He dreaded on explaining why he came home late. It was Christmas morning and the kids were up. He had their gifts, but he never put time in wrapping them. Also, he forgot them. The car was towed off to his friend's shop for work. The presents were still in the trunk of the car. Joshua walked into his home to find his kids unwrapping gifts from under the Christmas tree. His wife stepped out of the kitchen in a robe with hot chocolate. She smiled at Joshua without giving him hell for being out late. Joshua didn't understand why she didn't even as much show anger. She took his hand and whispered in his ear,
You shouldn't drink and drive. I kill only bad people who do stupid things. Husband, calm down. Enjoy this holiday.
She kissed his cheek, then went to her children and played with them on the floor. Joshua then remembered something about the night he saw his wife in the woods. Somehow, it was etched out of his mind, nearly like a bad nightmare he thought was false. As Joshua remembered back when he found her naked laying over her boss. She lifted her head from her boss's bleeding neck and grinned at Joshua, a blood-dripped smile. She then said to him with a giggle,
Just feeding, my love.
Joshua looked at his beautiful wife as she played with their children. He covered his mouth, then started laughing with tears in his eyes.
Mommy, Daddy's laughing. I know, Dad. I know.